will this in any way harm Trump? Or really, the most important thing is what impact will it have on this reconciliation bill? Because I don't think whether they get back together or whether they pretend to get back together or whether they stay apart and they just, move on and find new people to have a bromance with. I think the only thing that really can come out of this at the end of the day is going to be what happens with this bill. And you know what I'm saying? Like what impact has it? Let's play this Laura Ingraham thing, because there's so many different cross currents that impact the House and the Senate bill. And we've already heard some squawking out of the House that people were a little bit upset about this and that being in the bill. They weren't aware of it. The Senate, has issues that are different from the House bill. And if Musk is no longer a tool by Trump to discipline his people forget, and I imagine these politicians remember, Trump doesn't do so well when he's not on the ballot. And so Musk had the cash that could actually fuel a race against it. He was the enforcer. The enforcer's gone, and it may just loosen things up a little bit in the Senate. Here's Laura Ingraham.
And as for the president, he should simply disengage. Musk is his own person. The government contracts that he has stand on their own merit. They shouldn't be called into question. Threatening to pull them, that's not wise. When 5 minutes ago you were, of course, hailing Musk's work and helping rescue the stranded Americans in space. Elon Musk is like the Thomas Edison of our time. He sacrificed for America personally and professionally. And he wanted to make the Trump presidency happen, and it did. And I will...
All right, God. This is my quick theory on this. She's siding with Elon a little here.
Yeah.
So Laura Ingraham's already been demoted from 10, right, to 7. That, or her time slot changed.
You're talking about time, not on a 10 scale.
Sorry, well, I mean, Trump, she's a 7 now, the older she gets. She's she's aging out of the Fox News. They don't like women, you know, that are older. And
getting a little long in tooth,
she saw her colleague, Tucker Carlson, we know from the Dominion lawsuit that they at least would text and shit talk Trump and things like that, who moved over to X, to Twitter. Elon has deep pockets, and he's seemingly willing to fund a lot of these right-wing influencers, including, just some of the the shit posters you see on Twitter who spread all of this disinformation. Clearly there's Twitter money behind that, right? Mm-hmm. I wonder if she's planning an exit strategy and is trying to suck up to Elon on the way out. That's just my one thing I'm throwing out there.
Following Katie Miller, maybe there's a whole crew of them that are going to follow Musk out the door. I don't know. That was interesting. I hadn't seen that with Laura. Seemed to me like she was pretty well hedged. She saying Trump should disengage. I mean, that's a pretty strong sort of statement to him, I'd say. And this hero worship of Musk is enough to make me just hurl. Honestly, I just can't take it. Have you guys watched that movie Mountainhead by the guy who did Succession?
No.
I actually wrote about it in the context of Elon Musk earlier this week as I was watching this thing break down. And, there have been all these profiles of Curtis Yarvin, the guru, the Silicon Valley guru. These people, I swear to God, I said earlier that it's a mass case of arrested development. It's so true with these guys. I mean, these people are they're like children. There's just, it's all some kind of sci-fi pseudo-intellectual bullshit, basically, that they're all following. And these people like Laura Ingraham and a number of people on the right, maybe on the left too, I don't doubt it, are looking at these people like calling him the Thomas Edison of our time. That's ridiculous. He didn't invent Tesla. He bought Tesla. He's a huckster. He's a marketer. He's an entrepreneur. He's somebody, he's very good at it. I'm not going to take anything away from his ability to make money, because he does have a real talent for it. But as far as him being some kind of a super genius, look at him in action yesterday. You tell me, is that a genius? Because she shouldn't sound like a genius to me.
Well, to be fair to Elon Musk, he is under the influence of probably enough prescription and non-prescription drugs
True.
that
I forgot about that.
could kill
a horse. I mean,
And
isn't that
so-
what ketamine's initially for? Isn't it a horse tranquilizer?
It was a horse tranquilizer.
So,
Well,
I mean,
this movie Mountainhead
wanna be fair.
It takes place it's these four guys who are, there's the Elon Musk character and some others. I think one's Steve Jobs and, these other guys that are all billionaires and they're all competing with one another at a time when the world is burning, literally, because the Elon Musk character has put out a new app that is making it possible to do deep fakes that are you can't tell that they're deep fakes. And so all over the world, people are putting out these deep fakes, and it's causing wars and refugee crises and they're terrorist attacks and all this stuff. And these guys are all sitting there watching it on their phones, right? They're at this mountaintop area for a poker weekend, and they're watching the whole thing happen. It's fascinating, not because it's a great movie necessarily, although it's done by the guy who did Succession. So it's not like, it's not cheap or anything. But the way they speak, this nonsensical, this I don't know, the self-glorification of them as gods of the universe. And they talk about how they're going to take over the world, take over the country and stuff. This is what I feel like we're dealing with. It's like college freshman ketamine, Molly fueled bullshit. And these are these people. I mean, they have way too much money, as you said, Sam. No one should have it, especially not them.
Right.
And let's talk about a little bit about just like there's two things that are relevant that are more relevant, I guess, to our politics ultimately than this fight. One is the attempt by or the failure of the Democrats to have an overarching narrative of their politics right now, from which their attacks on this reconciliation bill can fit into. So when you have, and we'll do this, a couple of these clips in the fun half, but you have the Republicans going out there and they have basically two major talking points about the cuts to Medicaid. One is that there's 1.4 million undocumented immigrants, they say illegal immigrants on Medicaid. That is 100% not true. It's just not true. Statutorily, they can't be on there. There are programs in the states, about 14 states, that have provide health insurance for undocumented in some way. The vast majority are probably children. Nevertheless, the Democrats have not formulated a policy on immigration that they can leverage into going after that talking point, and it fits back into an existing narrative that they've been talking about. And then they go on to say there's 4 million able-bodied men out there who are just like, they don't want to get a job, but they also really care about their health, and they don't want any cash to pay for things, but they want to make sure that they have a provider so that they can check their whatever it is,
their cholesterol,
as a 24-year-old, 25. I just want to make sure that I'm healthy. My body's a temple.
Yeah.
Somehow they're paying for their gym membership without any money, whatever.
Mom's basement of the hospital.
Exactly. And because there is no sort of like cohesive message by the Democrats on healthcare, right? Like what is the Democratic position on healthcare? Maybe universal access, like it's not there. There's very little opportunity for Democrats to have any attacks on these lies resonate because they don't have a larger narrative for this to fall back into, to be deployed to. There's no, dryer clothespin for them to hang stuff on, essentially. And so that's one of the problems. Then the other problem is, which I think contributes to that problem, is that you have people now kissing up to Elon or still out there pursuing our billionaires You know, and I have no problem with a billionaire who comes out and says the agenda should be to keep people like me from having $1 billion. And I support, you know, taxing this money away.
Right.
You know, I would have no problem with that at all. There's nothing inherent in the individuals. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.